Hey, good morning from Japan. Nice to see you. Hey, Tank. Hey, Brooke. Brooke, that just flew out. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. What just popped out as soon as I saw your name? Boom, baby. Dominion. Dominion. You are in total control. Take it and run. One card for you. Fresh out. Tank, how's the green of Ireland? God, I want to see Ireland one day. It's on the bucket list. Pray I don't have to make it to the bucket era before I get over there. Whoa, more poppers. Yo, there we go. Jaya Jaya. Hey, Charlene. Charlene, you want a card? I'm using 3 decks this morning. The Thoth-Crowley Hermetic Tarot, the Visconti Sforza, which are these lovely little cards that I'm holding in my hands right now. Beautiful, elegant Italian stuff. And the Rider-Waite, conservative, traditional stuff. Charlene, here we go. 1 card for you. Okay, I've got the Rider-Waite in my hands. Let's see what you're about this morning, Charlene, and in life in general. Cut. Draw. Check it out. The 3 of Swords, Charlene. You know, we understand stuff. The downloads come, we intuit them, we think we understand, and one of the consequences of deep understanding is a great sorrow that fills us, because we look out into the world and we see the state of affairs and we understand something's not right with this picture, and we try to mesh with that and merge with that, and sometimes it's beyond us, because inside our hearts of freedom we know how we're supposed to interact, and the world doesn't always let us do that, and it becomes incumbent upon us to figure out how we're going to create our lives in accordance, in alignment with our personal visions of joy. Good luck to you, Charlene. Everything is coming. It's clear. You can trust your understanding. What you do with that, that's going to be up to you. The 3 of Swords. Coral Biggs. What a cool name. Coral. God, that's a nice name. You may absolutely have a card, Coral. I'm using 3 decks. Thoth-Crowley, the Hermetic stuff based on the Hebrew mystic system of Kabbalah. You can see the glyph behind me there. We attribute the cards to the Tree of Life when we check out your entire spiritual evolution in both directions. 1, back towards God consciousness, and 2, in the evolution into your human experience. Coral, do you have a particular... No, I'm not picking up poppers for Coral. Do you have a particular card that you'd like me to draw? Or a particular deck that you'd like me to draw from? Absolutely, Charlene. Blessings to you, sister. See, I'm just waiting on Coral there for a second. Absolutely, Linz, I'll get you. All right, well, I know there's a lag in communication here. Coral's not getting back to me immediately, but Coral, I've just picked up the Visconti Sforza cards for you. The Visconti are Italian creations, artistic stuff, created at the end of the 15th century during the Occult Renaissance. Let's find out what Coral's about. Cut. Bang. Look at that. The 4 of Cups. Now, the 4 of Cups, people say that reversals aren't always the greatest things, but you know, when it comes to applying these cards on the glyph of the Tree of Life that you can see behind me, the whole premise of the Tree of Life is that once upon a time, billions and trillions and gazillions of years ago, there was only the unity of God, and that God invested itself with a variety of limitations and capacities so that it could evolve into the human experience that we're all sharing right now. It evolves from top down, and we evolve from the bottom up back into God consciousness, the spiritual aspirant trying to get home, so to speak. So when we see a reversal card, we're talking about evolution back into the human experience. The Four of Cups is talking about how you are already invested with a certain amount of creative power. You've got some juice, right? And the question becomes, what do you want to do with that? You are currently pouring into your creation. You are enabled and empowered with a certain amount of imagination, a certain amount of creative ability. The question becomes for you, okay, how would you like to go about creating now? Because you've got the power. You've got all of the resources at your disposal. There's only that one question. What do you want to do with it? And it's always the same question for anybody who is invested with and totally aware of their freedom. Coral, good luck to you on your path. Hey, thank you, Joanna Salvador. Sending it right back to you, sister. JJ, is that a Chilean flag that I see? The icon is so small I can't really make it out. Hey, Michelle Nice. Michelle Nice, this next card is for you. Got the Visconti Sforza in my hands right now. You know, I've also got oracle cards. I'm also doing oracle cards, and in case you're not familiar with the difference between an oracle card and a tarot card is straight symbolism, right? You don't see any words except for maybe the title of the card right there, but you don't see any words. It's up to the reader to interpret the symbols on the card. But an oracle card is a deck created by a particular author with a bunch of words, right? This is the author's message for you. Now, I use oracle cards created by a master, Don Miguel Ruiz, and he has two decks that I like to use. One is called the Mastery of Love, and the other is called the Four Agreements, the agreements that we keep with ourselves in order to create a more fulfilling life. So I'm doing both of those. If you'd like an oracle, let me know. If you'd like a tarot card, let me know. Hi, Rain. Wow, you know, I don't know who I was just speaking to. This messenger thingy is moving a mile a minute. I've lost the name. Oh, it was Michelle Nice, was it? Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, how can I forget that name? Michelle Nice. It's so nice. All right, Michelle, so I've got the Visconti cards in my hands right now, and that's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get an elegant little Italian piece of art here. We cut, and what's our message for Michelle Nice? Look at that. The High Priestess, Golden Beauty. The High Priestess, Michelle, talks about the connection between our heart and our seat of knowledge. When we're flowing from a centered position of non-judgmental reference, when we're not judging good and bad, this and that, right and wrong, we are in a unique position to receive the truth of all matters. Now, you are on the path of the High Priestess. I say you're on the path of the High Priestess because the tarot cards, traditionally, classically, they're all correlated with paths and spheres on the Tree of Life. That's this glyph behind me. And the 22 trump cards, right? 0 to 22, the universe, the devil, death. The 22 trump cards correlate with 22 paths between various existential dimensions of our being. The path of the High Priestess rises from the heart chakra into the crown. And it's a direct path, bypassing all stops, bypassing the silence, taking you deep, deep into the void for full conscious transmission of the higher mysteries. Where does this come from? Jung called it the collective unconscious. That means that the vastness of self extends throughout the entire limits of the universe or unlimits of the universe. Good for you for being on such a path. Keep open, keep still, go deep into your meditation, and let that channel be open. What you receive is crystal clear. Enjoy that, Michelle. Take care, Tank. Glad it resonated, Coral. Hey, Scott, how you doing over there? Amber Jade, the next card's for you. Amber, I'm working with 3 decks if you have a preference. I've got the Visconti Sforza in my hands right now, elegant Italian stuff. I've got the Thoth-Crowley, which are corresponding with the Hermetic wisdom and very much more easily attributed to the Tree of Life, this glyph that you see behind me there. And I'm also working with the more conservative Rider-Waite deck too. So if you've got a preference or you'd like me to go Oracle, I can do that too. Amber Jade. Hi, Danielle. How are things down under, sister? Ah, JJ, thanks. That's the Philippines. All right. Who was I just talking to? Well, there you are, Amber. All right. What I feel pulled to call. What I feel pulled to call. What I feel called to pull. Great. Awesome. All right, Amber Jade. What a beautiful, beautiful name. And going on with the beauty of the name, I'm going to go with the cards that I feel are the most beautiful, and that's these Visconti Sforza cards right here. The Visconti, created at the end of the 15th century during the Occult Renaissance of Europe. Oh, don't the Italians have a thing for art and love and food? Visconti. Here we go. Amber Jade. Yeah. Yeah. Beauty. Give her a good message. The Seven of Pentacles. Amber, what are you feeling? What are you feeling, Amber? Talk to me, my lord. Yeah, she should not be trapped in emotional turbulence. Yeah, the emotions are just a spot where you can reflect on what you happen to be thinking. Whether it's external influences that are creating a judgment in the mind that are connecting to a body feeling, or whether it's something that you are just considering for your own self that's creating this visceral reaction to whatever you're thinking. Whatever it is, the emotions are one-stop shopping spots. You see them, you feel them, you be with them, you are them, and then you move on. Now, the thing with the emotional world is that we tend to take these emotions and transfer them into our lives and actually live the emotions. But that's not what the emotions were designed to do. The emotions were designed to give you a visceral understanding, a physical understanding, because the body is the closest conduit to our sensory input, right? Whatever we input, whether it's from the thoughts going out or whether it's from the environment coming in, our body is the first stop at which we can understand stuff. And the emotions, they play out through our body. We feel it in our stomach, we feel it in our heart, we feel it in our head. And people tend to get trapped there. They tend to get trapped like quicksand in these body feelings. You know, we get lost in desire, we get lost in guilt, we get lost in sorrow and anger, because feelings, for some reason, they feel very empowering. No matter what feeling we're in, we think, okay, this is it. This is the meaning of life right here. But the truth about feelings is that they are just one-point stops to understand something, to get a more clarity on whatever you're thinking. And then you move on from there. You move on into the heart center where you can take a balanced perspective, or you move into the collective unconscious, do your shadow work, so to speak, analyze it, see your thoughts, and make your thoughts clear in order that you can act on them. Go forward and create your destiny consciously. Amber, that's the message. Don't get stuck in the feelings, but use them for your evolution. Danielle Lee, yes you may. Danielle, I'm going to give you the first oracle card of the day. And I'm going to talk to you about what Don Miguel Ruiz calls the 4 agreements. Give you a good shuffle. Danielle, the 4 agreements. Let's cut these. And here we are. Always do your best, Danielle. Isn't that cliche? Always do your best. You know, it's cliche, but how many of us honestly always do our best? I mean, do you have any idea what your best is? Have you ever given your best, your all to something? If you have, then you know exactly what this means. Express your own divinity is what Don Miguel would have you know. Express your own divinity. You know, there's a lot of takes on what is divine and how we interact with the divine, but one take is that we're all divine. We're all just little sparks of God. God running around talking to God about God, expressing God, experiencing God. That's us. Express God through your own self. How does God want to express itself through you? What is that want, that desire, that overarching burn to be in your life? Express that, and you will know endless joy. The message, sorry, that was from me, but Don Miguel says, you don't need the acceptance of others. You don't need knowledge or great philosophical concepts. You have the right to be you, and you express your own divinity by being alive and by loving yourself and others. Okay, Don Miguel is talking about being alive, loving yourself, and loving others. So what does it mean to love yourself? It means to live your life of joy. According to you, what does that mean? Everybody's got a different definition, but it's like Socrates said to Phaedrus that one fine day on the hills, right? Need I or anyone else tell you what's good in this life? That's for you to know and for you to express. I hope that means something to you. Danielle. Scott Oakes. Card please and thank you. Absolutely, brother. Scott, I've got the oracle cards in my hand right now, and so I'm just going to continue with these agreements that we need to keep with ourselves, according to Don Miguel Ruiz. So Scott, what kind of agreement do you need to keep in mind in order to live your best life, in order to be the best version of you? Because isn't that what we all aspire for? Well, I don't know if we all aspire to it, but God, it's in our best interests to aspire to be the best versions of ourselves. If only we knew exactly how to do that, right? There's the trick. There's the skill. Scott, cut, boom, here it comes. Say goodbye to sadness and drama. Oh my God. If we could just say goodbye to sadness and drama, right? The Buddha said that on the obverse side of the coin of desire lies sadness. Wonder what that means, right? Why is there sadness on the other side of desire? Because we fear to lose it immediately as it gets into our hands, and we create all of these mental dramas about how to go and acquire more, about how to protect what we've got, right? To the point of dishonesty, to the point of throwing away our integrity. We judge ourselves, we kick ourselves, we judge the environment, we need to be right. How many different dramas are there? Let's see what Don Miguel is saying. He says, don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. Stay centered. Call what is, and what isn't. All the sadness and drama that you've lived in your life, Scott, was rooted in making assumptions and taking things personally. The whole world of control between humans is based on that. The whole world of control between humans is based on that. Making assumptions, taking things personally. I read a meme. It's my fault. This is all about me. I read somebody's opinion. Oh, this has some application to me. It doesn't. Somebody wrote something, it's about them. Somebody judges something else, it's about them. That's their judgment. What happens if you stop taking things personally, stop making assumptions, stay centered in yourself? Shit, man, suddenly the entire world goes quiet and we're at peace. And then suddenly we move into our intuition, or we move into our seat of knowledge, and we start calling out different things and making different judgments, and boom, the drama happens. Now I'm an angry man. Now I'm a happy man. Now I'm a sad man. Now I'm a working man. Now I'm a giving man. Now I'm a taking man. All of these different dramas, and come back to center. Boom, the dramas stop. And so the question becomes, okay, what do you do from this place of silent centered, right? That's another skill altogether. Scott, hope that means something to you, brother. Hey, Katie. How are you this morning? Frosted Bam. Wow. Love that name. You may absolutely have a card. You know, that name gets the Thoth-Crowley deck. Frosted Bam. Let's see what the ancient hermeticists have to say to Frosted Bam. Wow, I just want to shout that one out. Hey, Ruth, yo. Frosted Bam. Love that. With frosting. It's frosted. It's cool. It's insightful. It's keen. It's hardcore. Collected. Consolidated. Right on target. Look at me just reading your name. I'm not even reading the cards. Frosted Bam. That's the name, obviously, you chose for yourself. I can't imagine parents that chosen that, but aren't they cool parents that would? Frosted Bam. You're very welcome, Amber. You feel free to reach out anytime. I do these readings professionally. I'm always open for a chat. Reach out in friendship or just to send a little love, Amber, anytime. Frosted Bam. Here it comes. Danielle, you are very, very welcome. Frosted Bam. Frosted. Cut. Frosted. Seriously? You know, frosted doubt is the privilege of the free. Doubt is the blessing of the aware. When we go forward and we know something, or we receive a download of our intuition, or we connect with our higher self and our higher seats of wisdom, it's the person who is full of integrity who questions all of that. Don't let your doubt be the cause for over-imbalance. Don't let your doubt become the root of sadness and disappointment in the reality of the world, because the world is the world. You know, some people say that the world is an illusion. It's not an illusion. When you're hungry, you got to put food in your mouth. When you cross the street, there is the very real danger of being hit by a car, right? So things are not illusion, actually. If you jump off a building, you're going to die when you hit the pavement, right? Reality is what it is. Gravity is there, inertia is there, thermodynamics are there. Physicists have a really, really good grasp of reality. We get a piece of knowledge, we get a bit of intuition, and we think about that. Is this really applicable to me? We get a feeling, we make a judgment, we think about that. Is this the truth? And what I'm doing is right? Is this going to lead me in the wrong direction? What's happening? Analysis is not a bad thing. Doubt is going to bring you to the truth. Don't let that cause you consternation or fear. Don't let it make you anger. Don't let it make you confused and unbalanced. But use the doubt. Use the doubt. Analyze things to get to the truth. Don't let it stop you. Let it be your power. And that will allow you to rise and keep that channel open between your intuition, because you don't want to close down your intuition and stop the downloads just because it's too much to bear sometimes, right? Get it, take a look at it, and if you don't understand it, okay, reach out to somebody who can help you analyze that, because, you know, a lot of people get into shadow work and they have no idea what to do with all of this information that comes from the back room, so to speak, right? The subconscious, the collective unconscious. Every bit of sensory input from this life, and if legends are true, lives before this, exists in the collective. Right? And it's a really, really keen and practiced and experienced intellect that can go in there and actually start deciphering and analyzing all that. Treat it like a game. Treat it like a crossword puzzle. Let your doubts empower you. Frosted Bam. You're very welcome, Danielle. Jeanette Schneider. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Jeanette. Hi to you too, and I hope you're having a wonderful evening or a wonderful day wherever you are in the world as well. I'm glad I'm resonating already. Would you like a card? Awesome, Frosted. Glad it resonated. Keep on being you. Do the good work. Reach out anytime, sister. Sister? Can't even know if that's a sister. Why do I think you're a sister? Frosted, bam. Sean wants a card. Brooke, you got it. Sean wants a card. Okay. I'm going to give you from the Rider-Waite because you've got those at home and you can break it out and show him what the radiant one looks like. Sean, pleasure to meet you. Many, many thanks for sharing your Brooke with me. She's lovely. Sean, yeah, a good message. Yeah. Details guy. Opening. Yeah. Yeah, we want to introduce the mysteries in a way that an analytical mind, a logical mind, a cool mind can understand and approach. We want it to be approachable. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. Cut for Sean. Shum. Woo! Oh, yeah, that's how Brooke describes you. The Knight of Wands. Sean, the 78 cards of the tarot express the entirety of the human condition in 78 pictures and groups of symbolism. They speak to our awareness, they speak to our emotions, they speak to applications of our intellect, they speak to our physicality, how we interact with the physicality around us, how we interact with mental operations between people in interpersonal relationships. They speak to the entirety of the human condition. It's really, really huge. Somebody did a great job with the art of the tarot. When we see court cards, the kings, queens, princes, and princesses, we're talking about mastery of certain dimensions of our life. When we see the kings, we're talking about mastery in the right temple, the seat of wisdom, the seat of knowledge, applied intellect, applied knowledge. The Knight of Wands speaks to a man who is very, very confident of what he knows, very, very confident of being able to apply what he knows, very, very in tune with his own personal intention, with his own personal will. And that doesn't have to be expansive, it doesn't have to be grandiose, it doesn't have to be big, but it is focused. And the Knight of Wands is in a position of empowerment to actually take that focus and direct it in any direction that he would like. So Brooke tells me that you're a computer guy and that you're one of the creme de la creme computer guys. And I know that that takes quite a lot of focus and that you've gotten really, really good at your job. Says that you are able to focus and apply your mental faculties in that particular direction. But what the King of Wands says is that you have the choice, the opportunity, the empowerment, the enablement to take that focus and put it in any direction that you would like. It's a great card of choice. It's a great card to show you, to give you a introduction to choices that may be yours. What would you like to do further with this empowerment of focus that you have, with this seat of wisdom and knowledge that you have? Okay, the question becomes, what is this seat of wisdom and knowledge that I have? Well, first of all, it's everything that you've gained in this current lifetime, right? Only you know how much wisdom is there for you. But you know, there's also something that people call cellular memory, muscle memory. If legends are correct and there were lives before this that led up to where you are right now, there's a whole bunch of experience that's been collected inside this thing that we call Sean. And the seat of that wisdom is often held right in our subconscious, fed into our surface consciousness, by virtue of circumstance or the present moment that we happen to be in. The King of Wands talks about what a strong man you are and what an able person that you are to go forward on any path that you choose. The King of Wands. Nice to meet you. Jeanette. Jeanette, did I read for you already? God, I don't even remember. This thing is just flying by. Did I pick? I remember saying your name, wondering if I was pronouncing it correctly. And I don't remember if I chose a card for you or not, Jeanette. But you know what? If I did, you're lucky because I'm about to choose another one. And if I didn't, well, here we go. I'm going to choose your first. So Jeanette. Jeanette, I'm going to pick up the Visconti Sforza cards right here. The Visconti Sforza, beautiful Italian art. You see how these just shine with the golden embossed engraved imagery. These are such beautiful, beautiful cards. The Visconti Sforza tarot cards, one of the first decks ever created, the end of the 15th century in Italy, the flowering of the Occult Renaissance. Beautiful, beautiful cards. Jeanette, here we go. Yes, here we go. Journée, enchanté. All right. Here we go. Yes, I am indeed drawn to pull a card from you, even more so now with the pronunciation of that name. Journée. 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 If only I had French. No, we're not doing poppers. Yeah, this is for Journée. Journée. Cut. Ooh, beauty. Ace of Cups. The world is yours. What kind of world would you create, Journée? The Ace of Cups. You know, we are all endowed with certain liberties. We are all endowed with the freedom to be as we are and do as we do. We're all endowed with intellectual capacities and limitations, creative capacities and limitations, physical capacities and limitations. The Ace of Cups talks about our crown capacity. You know, the chakra system, from Muladhara down at the pelvic floor all the way up into Sahasrara and the crown. When the crown is, full crown, when the crown is illumined, what does the illumined awareness do with this life? We can go in any direction. We can serve. We can sit back and be silent. But the Ace of Cups, now, for people who are not familiar with the tarot cards present the numbered cards from Ace to 10 in 4 different dimensions, 4 different elements of wands, cups, swords, and discs, appealing or correlating with our physical body, our mental capacities, our creative functions, and our will or intention, that fire in the center. The cups is talking to our fluid, creative abilities, and the ace is talking about being illumined and being able to channel that illumination in any direction whatsoever. Now, the thing with the ace is that it is a pool of potentiality. It's all there. Now, we can say that everybody is possessed of the same pool of potentiality, and the 78 cards, well, they're speaking to the entirety of the human condition. So yes, the little boy in Ethiopia and the little girl in Nicaragua and the boy standing here reading in Japan and the people on the other end of this video, we are all the same, endowed with exactly the same potentiality. But it is the privilege of the aware, of the conscious, to take that potentiality and actually do something with it, right? And that's what's incumbent upon all of us, to create our destinies in alignment with our personal visions of joy, right? That's not for my parents to decide. That's not for my educators to decide. That's for me to decide. And so very often we come up with this question, okay, what is my purpose in life? What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? That is exactly why you are here, to discover the answer to that question, because according to the legend and the premise of this entire tarot art, there was one God that evolved itself into all of us, right? We are just little sparks of God expressing God through experiential joy, just the joy of experience. So what are you here to experience? And what are you here to do? The Ace of Cups talks about a pool of potentiality, creative potentiality, that you are, at this very moment, Jonet, being called upon to tap and put out into creation. Now, if you need to know how to tap that, if you need to know what to do with that, if you need to build the skills in order to create with that, well, that's why coaches like myself are here. That's why we have full readings to take you even deeper and deeper into that particular exploration. But this is what this card is telling you this morning. Tap your creative potential, go forward, and be happy. The Ace of Cups. Jacqueline Bustos. How do I pronounce that family name? Bustos? Busto? Jacqueline, what would you like to have guidance on? Is that an angelic emoji that you've given me? Would you like to leave that guidance to me, or would you like, do you have something in mind? Jacqueline. Absolutely, Janet. Jacqueline, I'm going to give you an oracle card. There's a lag in our communication, so sometimes it takes a couple of minutes for you to get this, and you're not going to be able to answer the question faster than I can pull the card. So here we go. You get an oracle card. Nope, no poppers. Yeah, Jacqueline wants a little bit of guidance. I picked up the Mastery of Love cards. Yeah, because this entire life is just one huge manifestation of love, right? According to the Tantric idea, according to the yogic idea, this entire life is just a manifestation of the divine Shakti, the divine energy, right? There's an original source, and there's an original force manifested by that source, and that force has become all of us. That original desire of God to experience life and all of its joys and sorrows and ups and downs is now verily within us as the expression of joy and sorrow on both sides of the coin. All right. So, yeah, usually what we want is going to connect with our love, our mastery of love in some way. Jacqueline, it is the mastery of love and the direction of Senor Don Miguel Ruiz, who's going to talk to you this morning. Jeanette, there's much more where that came from. Feel free to be in touch anytime. No, Jacqueline. Jacqueline. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because many people. So real timing it. Jacqueline, one more cut. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. You are responsible for your own happiness, Jacqueline, right? Doesn't that sound cliche? You are responsible for your own happiness, but that's what Don Miguel would have us understand. Absolutely, we are responsible for our own happiness. You know, we make our husbands and wives responsible for our happiness, our children, our bosses, our friends responsible for our happiness. Who's going to be responsible for our happiness if we're not responsible for our happiness, huh? Don't you know that you are enabled and empowered to go out and create your happiness, whether you've got a career, whether you've got a relationship, whether you've got a roof over your head, right? You are responsible for your happiness. I know. We put the greatest stake in our happiness in the possessions that we accumulate. And according to Dr. Maslow, there are certain needs, certain fundamental needs that all human beings have, whether it's esteem, whether it's safety and security, whether it's love, whether it's full individuation of our identities and our personalities, in order for us to gain that happiness. But at the end of the day, that safety and security, that esteem, that love, it's all up to us, right? Now, how much steel do you have in your veins that will enable you to take responsibility for creating your happiness? Because that's a big deal, folks. And that's a big deal. Who am I talking to right now? Jacqueline. Jacqueline, yes. Do you have the steel that it takes to actually take responsibility for creating your own happiness, for being happy in the moment, for putting yourself in Look at me reading the Akasha, I should be giving you the card. This is what Don Miguel says. Don Miguel says, happiness never comes from outside of you. That's right. If you put your happiness in someone else's hands, they can always take it away. What kind? You want to give that power to somebody else? Happiness can only come from inside of you and is the result of your love. So again, yes, it sounds cliche, and yes, it's ideal that we don't put the power to take away our happiness in somebody else's hands, right? But when my own little 7-year-old daughter rejects daddy and says that she doesn't want to play, oh my God, I'm crushed. I'm crushed. Look at me, yogi. Look at me, illumined. Look at me, 30 years mystic, crushed by a 7-year-old because I've put the power of my happiness in her hands. Well, that's a choice that I make. That's the relationship that I want with her. But yeah, I should be on my game just a little bit more. Jacqueline, happiness never comes from outside of you. If you put your happiness in someone else's hands, they can always take it away. Hope that means something to you. Sue Davis, I will be absolutely happy to pull a card for you, dear. Let's take a look at the Rider-Waite. The Rider-Waite cards, developed in the 19th century, what? 20th century? Early 20th century? Yeah, they're a product of the Golden Dawn. At the very end of the Occult Renaissance. For you who don't know what the Occult Renaissance was all about, it was a flowering of intellectual activity, a flowering of Enlightenment arts that happened in Europe when the Illuminati, the illumined ones, took knowledge from Greece and took knowledge from India and from China and from Africa, and they brought it all together and they made the arts, the occult arts from all of that. They took all of it and made it mystical systems, and the tarot is one product of that time. And the Rider-Waite comes from a group called the Golden Dawn, which was one of the last of the great occult groupings of illumined minds. A.E. Waite, Arthur Edward Waite, created these cards, and they've undergone rejuvenation and you know, they've been spruced up here and there. So now there's something called the Rider-Waite Smith deck and the Radiant Rider-Waite. These are the original, but there's some beautiful cards out there. Sue, cut. The Six of Swords. Good for you, Sue. All right. A woman who knows how to use her mind cleanly. Very good. Because when we use the swords of our mind to slice through the duality, we're slicing through right and wrong, good and bad, left and right. We're slicing through the duality to discern, to discriminate, to give ourselves a handle on truth. Now, what happens most of the time when we apply our minds is we apply it in one direction, off balance. We treat our mental activities with a certain level of bias that delivers to us answers that we are predetermined to receive according to that bias. Some people call it cognitive dissonance, right? We only understand what we want to understand or are ready to understand. But the six, if you notice this glyph behind me, there's a center pillar and there's a left and a right pillar. The six is right in the center, in the heart chakra. And the Six of Swords talks about mental applications from a centered position. And that's what you are right now. You are centered in your ability to perceive. You can see both sides of the coin. Now, how you use that, well, that kind of ability, that kind of perspective and perception can further careers, can further interpersonal relationships, can further self-development. You can use that particular perspective in any direction that you want. You can't lose an argument with this perspective. You can't lose an argument with yourself. You can't lose an argument with anybody else because you're perfectly willing to take both sides. You accept both sides. You know that both sides exist. They both exist. If somebody's right, somebody's wrong, and they both exist together, right? And the only truth of that particular dynamic would be in what you want to accept. You accept that this moral outcome is right or wrong. That's totally up to you because ultimately there is no right or wrong but what we make, right? Six of Swords. Shannon Magallons. You may have a card pulled in your name. My lord. Yes, Shannon. A card in her name. Which I'm also inclined in that direction. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's very precise and impeccable that way. It is. Visconti. Shannon, the Visconti Sforza deck. Nice Italian stuff. This card is being pulled in your name, dear. Glad to hear it, Sue. Shannon? Beautiful. Shannon, the Emperor talks to you. Shannon? The Emperor is the path that we take when we are looking for answers to life's mysteries. We rise up from a position of love. We are in love with this life and in love with being, enjoying, satisfied to a certain extent, but not satisfied enough because the lower self-identification still exists and we get trapped in questions of ego this and ego that. But the ego is not something that can be killed, Shannon. The ego is not something that should be made an enemy of. The ego is a mechanism of this fourfold mechanism of mind of ours. It has its place. It gets us up in the morning. It brings us forward on our path. It allows us to put food and coin in our hand in order to take care of ourselves, ego. Ego allows us to judge, and we have to judge if we're going to get out of bed in the morning, right? Ego is not a bad thing. Over-ego, egoism, egotistical stuff. Okay, imbalance. Imbalance with the imbalance with anything. Imbalance with chocolate and pizza. Imbalance. Imbalance is something, but ego is what ego is. It does its job. And so we don't have to worry about that. But lower self-identification rises up along the path of Kundalini to become higher self-identification. Shiva and Shakti marry in the third eye, and she never goes back down to flirt with lower self-identification again. The path of the Emperor calls you up to the seat of wisdom, that you might understand life's mysteries, that you might understand how the human condition evolves, what it means to be a human being. It's not enough just to intuit. It's not enough just to download. I hear people talking about downloads all the time, right? It's not enough just to download. You have to know what you're downloading, right? Otherwise, you're going to get trapped in the world of doubt. Can I doubt? Can I understand this? Can I use this? Can I apply this? What does this mean? What is this? Who are my guides? What does this mean to me? Who am I? Where is self? Self is right here. Self is the one that's listening to this broadcast. Self is the one that's asking questions. Self is the one that's going for the knowledge. Self, you are self. The path of the Emperor is going towards the seat of wisdom in order to get an answer to the human condition. You go further on your way. If you'd like more, you reach out anytime. We'll talk. Shannon. Shannon. Oh. Linz? Absolutely. I feel drawn. I'm drawn to absolutely anybody who shouts out in the comments, Linz. Yeah, I don't know. I just picked up the Rider-Waite here. This one's for you. I haven't touched the Crowley cards. If somebody is interested in really deep hermetic stuff, give me a shout because I'd like to pick up these Crowley cards and I don't know why I'm not doing that yet. Lisa, isn't that cute? That's right. I love dogs and they love me. We've got a thing. Actually, I was born in the Chinese year of the dog. Ah, what are these popping guys? Linz, this is for you. Yeah, Linz Heron. Cut. Justice. Reversed. So I don't know if you caught the first part of the broadcast, but if you can see this glyph behind me, this is called the Tree of Life, according to the Hebrew mystical system called Kabbalah. And what the premise of this glyph is that once upon a time when there was only God as source, that God invested itself with force and a variety of limitations and capacities in order that it evolve through various dimensions and elements to become the experiential us, in order to experience the human condition. Okay, somebody has defined God. Who knows if that's true? But that's the premise of the Tree of Life. And the Tree of Life shows the evolution of God consciousness into experiential human condition, and the evolution of this experience of human condition back to God consciousness. That is, after all, what the spiritual aspirant seeks, right? God knowledge and our way home. Knowledge of the human condition. What does it mean to be alive? Ms. Heron, what Justice Inverted speaks to is the evolution direction coming towards the human condition from the position of the God. In layman's terms, intellectual activity is now being focused on, if she's doing shadow work, then why are her emotions not being evoked? Yeah, you tell me. She's not accessing? She's on the approach for the first time. Okay. Yeah, there's no problem. What? Tell me more. No, it's not shadow. Having overcome doubt and disappointment, she is coming into a stable position in her life. Good for her. Yeah, she's understood the meaning of justice, being just to her own self. She's understood what it means to have overcome challenges, overcome disappointment, overcome doubt, overcome friction of her own creation. She's taken responsibility. She has held herself accountable for creating joy in her life. She has made the determination that she will go forward and create life according to her own core values, according to her own vision of joy. Yeah, this is justice reversed. I hope you got that. Hope it made sense. Justice reversed. Hey, Linnell Jane Rafter. Absolutely. I'm doing tarot and oracle this morning. Let's see what just popped out for Jane. Hey, where'd she go? Wow, this thing moves fast. I could swear I was just talking to a Jane. But she's gone. Wow. All right, Jane, you know, I swear I saw a Jane in front of me, and I don't see that now, so I'm going to bypass you. And if you'd like my attention back on you, please shout out again, because for some reason you just disappeared. Amanda Valiere. Amanda Valiere. How do I pronounce that family name, Valiere? Absolutely, I'll give you a card. I'm working with 3 decks this morning. The Visconti Sforza, lovely Italian works of art. The traditional Rider-Waite. Yeah, again, this thing just changed. What the hell? Valiere. I remember Valiere. I don't remember the first name because it's gone again. How is this? What is this? Names are just popping up and disappearing. This is nuts. Hold on, maybe it's a setting. Default, pop out. No, I don't want to create a poll. These cards are amazing, Becky. These are nuts. But I'm looking for Miss Valiere because I'm absolutely sure that I was just talking to a Valiere now, asking about the pronunciation of that name. And she's gone. But you know, I've got the name firmly emblazed in my head. It's there, and I'm going to give you a card anyway. And I'm going to go with the Thoth-Crowley Hermetic Tarot, because that's Yeah. No, I no confusion in the chat box, please. Keep that straight. Keep that straight. Valieri. Yeah, because the Thoth-Crowley Tarot, they're exotic stuff. You can see the rosy cross on the front. Yeah, it's alluding to the alchemical marriage of Christian Rosenkreuz, the marriage of Shiva and Shakti in the heart, the marriage of the higher and lower self-identification, creating the higher man, as Bob Marley would say. Thoth-Crowley, Hermetic stuff. This is a message for Ms. Valieri. Cut. The Six of Cups. Now, I forgot who I was talking with before about the Six of Swords being of an application of mind that finds itself centered, that finds itself reserved of judgment, that finds itself able to pierce the veil on both sides and see both sides of every operation, and thereby being able to understand. The Six of Cups takes us into a more creative dimension from within the same aspect of mental activity. You know, when we create something, we have to apply our mind to that operation, right? But applying our mind to the operation often shows us the skills that we need to, well, skills are very physical, often shows us the model, often shows us the blueprint, often shows us the way we're going to apply ourselves. This is the mental attribution in the sixes, how we move from our heart or how we think from our heart. The cups talk about the creative process that goes into our thinking, right? There's linear thinking and there's lateral thinking. There's thinking that takes us from A to B to C to D, and there's thinking that takes us from A to B and then outside the box all the way over to N, or N squared, and then back to D, and allows us to correlate N squared with M down the line, right? And maybe draw a line, maybe draw a wiggly line, maybe even color that line to create something, right? And we say imagination. Imagination doesn't always mean fantasy, right? What could be, what can be, stretch the limits of my mind, get creative. The Six of Cups talks about the ability to do that precisely because you're centered, you're in your heart. You know, the sixes are the place of the Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva, the difference between a Bodhisattva and a Buddha, the Buddha has already reached the crown. The Buddha is enlightened. You're not going to see so many Buddhas or hear about so many Buddhas over the millennia, but the Bodhisattva have reached a particular level of illumination that they don't want to take themselves to the final enlightenment. They receive their joy in service of the common man. They receive their joy through connection with the human condition all around them. They receive their joy through service. The Six of Cups talks about how you are endowed with the mental faculties to be creative, to create anything that's in line with your particular vision, but also being centered in the heart can be applied towards service of the community, service of the family, service of your own interests. How would you serve your joy, serve the joy of the common man, serve the joy of your family with your creative prowess, is the question for you, Ms. Valieri. Sonia Lopez, you'd love a card? You're going to get a card. Since I'm working with Thoth-Crowley right now, I've just picked them up. Yes, let's give one to Sonia. Shout! All right, you really want it. All right, cool. Freda, you're next. If this name stays in front of me, it looks like it's taken on a bit of stability. All right. Yeah, this is for Sonia Lopez. Show her what she needs. Very nice, very nice. The Magician. This is the Magician, the Magic Man. Now he was in the reversed position. The difference between the reversed cards and the upright cards is simply the direction of evolution. Is God evolving into the human condition, or is the human condition evolving back to God? They're both good. You know, some tarot readers say that reversals indicate bad stuff, but I don't, you know, good and bad, it's so based on personal judgment, right? I like to refrain from that as much as possible. But the magician talks about how you bring your arts into the world around you, right? How you create, what kind of effects you're wanting to make through your ritual, through your applied intention, through your actions, through your imaginative creation. The magician has it all. I mean, you look at the card just a little bit more clearly, a little bit more up close, you can see that the magician has all of the elements at his disposal. He wields everything. The magician is a very, very powerful card. It is card number 1, as opposed to card number 0, which is the Fool. And the Fool, well, you know, the Fool is the receptacle. The Fool is he's the entire stuff. He's everything, but he's not manifesting it. The magician is manifesting it. You know, we have in these spiritual groups the big question of how do I manifest a life? This one pops up quite a lot. And the one thing that people tend to lose sight of is the amount of real effort, real physical effort, real mental application, real design that it takes to manifest. You can't just sit back, meditate, and say, pot of gold, pot of gold, and pot of gold is going to start raining down on your ass. It does not work like that, right? The magician is a very, very practical lady or lad. The magician knows how to use the mind, knows how to use the heart, knows how to use the body to manifest what he or she would, right? Now, that's not to say that meditation and going inward and using the energy arts to heal, to connect with Mother Nature in just such a way that her synchronistic communication is not going to come and bolster your operations. Yes, it's true. The energy arts are as real as my physical body, right? And it takes quite a master to actually do something with that, right? And we can talk more about that. You reach out anytime. I'm very, very happy to chat you through that or guide you through that as you like with structured pathways to power. But the magician is talking about a very, very practical approach in line with energetic approaches, in line with intentional approaches, in line with imaginative approaches. The magician takes it all and delivers. That's the magician. Sonia Lopez, good luck with your magic, dear. Freda, you absolutely can have a card. Freda. I don't know, Scandinavian? Ricky, you're next. I hear you. As long as you stay right there in front of me, I'll hear you. Ricky. But this one's for Freda first. Thank you, Becky. Freda. Freda. Cut. Freda. The sole constant in the universe is change. Things are changing, welcome it. Things are moving, things are in flux, welcome it. Much better than stagnation. Change at the highest levels. Not these incremental changes or these superficial changes where you lose 2 pounds and then you gain them back the next week, right? No, we're talking about really, really huge changes, either happening right now or coming your way within the next, very immediate future. Change to the entire fabric of the belief system. Change that infuses you with real knowledge that you can't forget. Change in or knowledge of the caliber that creates foundations for you to springboard off into your life. Change, right? I don't know what you're studying. I don't know who you're talking to. I don't know what you've accessed that has instigated or provoked such a change, but good on you, because change is always nice, especially when you welcome it and know how to use it. Good luck. Change. Good stuff. Okay, where'd she go? Yeah, Becky was telling me about Amanda, but there was a Rick. There she is. There she is. That's Ricky. Ricky. That was a big shout out from Ricky, I think. No, that's Ricky from New Zealand. Where's the Ricky who gave me that big shout out? Ricky. Ricky. Again, it just disappeared again. Where are you, Ricky? Fredo, was that cool? Glad you liked it. Yeah, Jonet, isn't the magician cool? Where'd Ricky go? All right, Lando Morales Miranda. Something for your hard time. Acha, Grandma. Grandmas are the next best thing next to Santa Claus. Grandmas. Lando Morales Miranda. Wow. Try to say that 5 times fast. Lando Morales Miranda from Orlando. One message to help you through your hard times. I'm going to give you an oracle card. Very, very simple message to help you through hard times. If you want anything more than that, you know where to find me. But here it comes. Don Miguel Ruiz is really, really good for that. He talks about agreements that we keep with ourselves in order to make the most of our lives. Cut. Don't take anything personally, Lando Morales Miranda from Orlando. Be immune to others' opinions. And look at this, it has a picture of a turtle on there. And I'm getting more from the image of the turtle with the flower in its mouth than the title, Be Immune to Others' Opinions. Yeah, I don't know that a turtle is immune so much as a turtle is slow. Slow and gentle. And strong because of it, right? We tend to rush through our lives, rush through our physical lives, rush in our judgments, rush to feel sadness, rush to feel anger, rush to feel hopeless, rush to feel guilt. We rush into these feelings and then we get trapped in them, right? But most of the time, unless you've been hit by a truck, lost your legs, right? Lost your disability, right? Lost everything. Most of the time, we do have the resources to get back up on our feet and move forward. Most of the time. Now, if your life is that hard that you have no more resources, that you've hit bottom and you don't know how to scrape yourself back up, well, I'd say you wouldn't be on the internet right now, right? Now, so you haven't gone that far. You've got some resources, right? Move slow and gentle into the future like a turtle, not judging it so hard, but finding those resources and putting them to work for yourself. Not getting trapped in your emotions, not getting trapped in the futility of it all, but knowing how to make the most of your life and reaching out for help when you need that. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. Whether it's my husband, my brother, my son, my daughter, my boss, what others say and do is a projection of their own reality. That's huge. Their dream, right? On the obverse side, what's your reality? What's your dream? Because it's no more or less valid than anybody else's, right? It's the same. We're all on the same level. And nobody can take that away from anybody. Everybody is expressing the same reality, the same dream in different words. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, can anybody really be immune to the opinions and actions of others? We all take it personally a bit, right? We all base our identities on what somebody else around us is saying to a certain extent, right? To be immune from that shit is really to be empowered, really to be steel, really have access to that philosopher's stone. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering anymore, keyword being needless. You don't have to suffer like you're suffering. That suffering is also a choice, most of the time. Most of the time, yeah, somebody gets hit by a truck, somebody loses daddy, somebody, really, really comes upon hard times, okay. And still, how long do you have to suffer? People talk about the dark night of the soul going on for years, right? Have you ever read the poem by St. John of the Cross? It was a one-night thing, the dark night. Not dark nights of the soul. It was a dark night wherein St. John lost his faith in his inherent connection with God. That connection is always there. St. John forgot about it, and he had a really hard night because of it. It's a 93-page poem. Check it out. Check out what St. John was experiencing and what he was feeling and how he got back to normal again, right? You can do that too. Your dark night of the soul does not have to go on much longer than one night. Reach out if you need a friend. So who's in? Brittany Marie Lambert. Brittany Marie Lambert, here we go. Would you like an oracle card or a tarot card? Because I'm doing both this morning, dear. The difference between a tarot card and an oracle card, this is a tarot. You see symbols, right? There's a snake and a crown and a yin-yang and a Jupiter astrological symbol, and it's got an elemental reference. That's a tarot card, but an oracle card has words all over it. An oracle card is a message from the author of that particular deck. Brittany, tell me which one you'd like. Would you like a message from Don Miguel Ruiz on the 4 agreements that we make with ourselves in order to create a life of joy, or a mastery of love card, or a tarot card that I'll be happy to read for you and express terms of your spiritual evolution right now in the moment and going forward into the future? Brittany. Brittany, low key. All right, low key. I'm going to take, I don't know how to interpret that, Brittany, low key. All right, Brittany, I am going to give you an oracle card. I'm going to give you a really low key card. Mastery of love. God. The highest expression of the human condition, love, and I'm calling that low key. Sheesh. What the hell are these? What the? Wow. You like your pictures. All right, here we go. Yeah, here it comes, Brittany. Mastery of love. Oh, that's it. With all of these pictures to go with it, yes, you are an artist of the spirit. An artist of the spirit. You create and you express with all of these pictures. That's exactly what you're doing. Find yourself and express yourself in your own particular way. Express your love openly. Life is nothing but a dream, and if you create your life with love, your dreams become masterpieces of art. Well, doesn't that appear to be very appropriate for the girl who just plasters art all over my chat wall? That was low key. And that's how you master life and master love and master your art, is by expressing your vision in just your way. Brittany. Excellent, Landa Morales Miranda from Orlando. Glad it resonated. Hey, Zoe. I'm well. Hope you're well too. Yes, Jonet, the dark night of the soul is real. And you know, the dark night of the soul was coined by St. John of the Cross. Now, just like Kundalini awakenings, what we have turned the dark night of the soul into is something different from person to person. But the original dark night of the soul was a one-night thing. And it's just like Tantra, right? People are nowadays connecting Tantra to sexual rites and rituals, right? But Tantra is the umbrella under which all of the arts of yoga exist. And Tantra is a means of higher self-identification and union with the entire non-dual reality. That's Tantra. But somebody took chapter 29 of the Tantra Loka, the sexual arts, because that's part of the human condition, and they call that Tantra. And look, there's 1,000 groups on Facebook calling Tantra sex, but it's not. And there's 1,000 groups on Facebook and thousands more people calling Kundalini awakening pain. But the classical tradition that gives us the word Kundalini talks about purifying rites and preparation rites to keep the body-mind vehicle safe and ready for the rising of energy that is the force of source within all of us, right? Kundalini is verily awakened within each of us, but how she expresses herself within each of us is quite a different thing. And people are putting labels on all of these things that the sages of classical wisdom have termed different things. So it's good. It's good to get a grounding in what the sages have called something and what traditionally something is described as, and then put your opinions on top of that. As long as you're grounded in what the reality is first, you can build on that as you like going forward. All right, well, look, we're about an hour and 15 minutes in. This is where I am going to start calling it a day and wrapping things up. Let's see if I can get just one or two more people before I go. Sherry Francis, what are you laughing at? Did I say something funny? Anybody else here? Who have I missed? Sherry? Sherry, did I talk to you already? Sherry Francis. I don't think I talked to Sherry yet. Yes, Jeanette. All 78 cards are us. Sherry, if you're still there, you give me another shout and I'll get you right now. All right, here you go. Sherry, I'm going to draw from the Visconti Sforza deck. Italian stuff created at the end of the 15th century during the Occult Renaissance. Beautiful, beautiful Italian art. Oh, okay, Sherry Francis, Oracle. Oracle it is. And we will talk about The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And let's find out what Don Miguel's message for you is, Sherry Francis. Cut. Always do your best, but with the caveat that your best is changing all the time. And isn't that the truth, right? Your best is always changing. And that's good, right? Because what we want in life is always changing as well. The message: your best will depend on whether you're refreshed in the morning or tired at night. Your best will be different when you're happy as opposed to upset, or healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstances, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Man, I've got a lot to say about that. And Sherry, if you'd like me to interpret that, I'm going to hold this thing off to the side for just a moment because, wow, have I got things to say. But that's your oracle card, Sherry. Let me just move on until I get further word from you. Ricky Le Rapata. So Ricky, I'd never got to you. Is that what's happening? I've seen this name a couple of times now. And if I haven't, Orlando, glad. If I haven't, I'm here for you right now, Ricky. Huh? No, not yet? Let's give Ricky her card. Ricky, Thoth-Crowley Hermetic stuff for you, okay? Yeah, good message for Ricky. She's stuck right through it. Yeah, I blew by her a couple of times. Here we go. Yeah, show Ricky what she needs to understand her spiritual evolution. No. Yeah, everybody wants to know. We need to... That's the spiritual aspirant, my lord. Yeah, the knowledge of you, the knowledge of freedom, the knowledge of innocence, coming back to the origin of self, back to the garden, peace, freedom to be me. Yeah, let's tell Ricky something. Ricky, cut. Yo. The ace. The ace of discs. So Ricky, the ace of discs is the source of life within you. It's the source that gives you your power. It's your life force, the Ace of Discs. The Ace of Discs is the foundation upon which you stand in this life. It is the potential for every action that you would take. Now, what actions would you take? Because the entire question is, how would you express your freedom in this life? You are free to be, you are free to do, you are free to interact, you are free to go, you are free to stay, you are free. And the Lord is the pilot of your soul. There's a soul riding this body of David's, right? This soul has borrowed this physical vehicle in order to explore, in order to experience. This is the premise of the spiritual arts, that there is a soul behind this body, there is a soul behind this speaker. And there is a God behind this soul. There is a soul that is just a spark of God. And this is what the aces speak to. The spark that is you, the spark that you have to know in order that Ricky lives a fulfilling life. Because Ricky is just the name. Ricky is just the ego. Ricky is just the self-identification. Ricky is just the identity. Ricky is just the personality. Just. There's something behind Ricky. There's something behind Ricky pushing Ricky to the question, pushing Ricky to the exploration of the higher mysteries, pushing Ricky to know the truth of being. And the truth is the ace. The truth is the source that pushes Ricky to explore and know herself deeply. The fundamental, the foundation of Ricky's life. No more. Know more, understand more, go out and know yourself. That's what the Greeks say. That's what the Indians say. Everybody says it. Know yourself, and you know all the gods in the entire universe. Ricky. All right. Hey, Becky. You know, Becky, I don't know how often I'm on. Sometimes I'm just, I've got my own tarot group, and I run a group on yoga as well. God, you know, I'm mentoring people and coaching people and running online programs and doing my job in the life. And sometimes I'm going through the spiritual communities, because that's my legacy. You know, I left my home in the U.S. when I was 17 years old, and I went out and explored the world, and took myself into the Orient and took myself up the Himalayas, and wound up spending 20 years with the Tantric Yogin in the Himalayas, discovering and developing my own self. And now here I am at 51 years old. I'm in the legacy stage of my life. And all I really, really want to do is give a helping hand, give a bit of guidance, give a little bit of support to the next generation of spiritual seekers, because that's what this life is all about. We're here to discover the meaning. We're here to know our purpose. We're here to express ourselves and create our destinies in alignment with our personal visions of joy. And so that's what I do. I coach and I mentor and I help people, and I give them a bit of assistance in structuring their ways in order that they can get these answers, because you shouldn't be stuck on the path. When you're scaling a big mountain, you want to hire a Sherpa to get you up the mountain as quick as possible by the safest possible route, right? He knows the pitfalls, he knows the traps, he knows the shortcuts, he knows where to take a break, he knows what tools you need, and knows what maps you need to read, right? And so you hire a good guide. Well, that's what I'm doing. How often am I on? I don't know. You know, I go live in my groups, I go live in a couple other groups, and today I'm here with you now. So, absolutely, Ricky. Becky, reach out anytime. Reach out in friendship. Come over to my groups. Message me as you like. Okay, so this is where I'm going to call it a night. Zoe! Yeah, it's been a great adventure. It's been absolutely amazing. And that's, you know, one of my overarching points here. What would you do with your freedom? Me, I was born wanting to see the face of God. I had questions. I had questions about the meaning of life and what it means to be a man from really early on. And lucky for me, I was blessed with traumatic surroundings that really put a fire under my ass and pushed me right out into the world, because I wasn't going to stay home and take any more of that shit. No, life was waiting to be lived. And so I went out and started living it. And that's the message that I'd like to give to you, right? Everybody can live a life in complete alignment with your personal vision of joy. What would you do with that freedom and that joy, or for that joy, for your joy? Joné, keep in touch. Sister, nice to meet you. Everybody, I'm out of here. It's been about an hour and a half, and well, I think I better go and say hi to my own family now. So my extended family here. It's 11:30 in the morning here in Japan. Let's go see what the day has for me. I'll see you again. Ciao. Don't be a stranger. Keep in touch. All of my links are in my profile. Message me as you like. Friend me. Ciao.